Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Friend Funders and Paul for inviting us. We'll talk about just purpose. I think it's, I'm super happy to be with Hubert on stage. But I think we want to make you part of the conversation. So I will start with a question for all of you. Let's take Amazon. We talk about purpose, and the interesting thing about just the title of this session is purpose. A lot of people are talking about mission. We're meeting so many people with Hubert about just, I'm mission-driven. Mission is important. So let me ask a question about Amazon. Can you raise your hand here if you believe that Amazon is mission-driven? Raise your hand, please, if you believe it's mission-driven. So almost, no, not much, let's say. No, maybe not much. I do believe they are very mission-driven. Very mission-driven. So I asked the same question at Harvard on Monday. Like you, everyone say no, they have no mission. They have a deep mission. It's us, consumers. They want us to have access to everything, every time, at a cheap cost. Do we think they have a purpose? No. They don't have a purpose. They have a mission. Why I want to start with this, it's important that we don't always, or we always sometimes just put one against the other. People in this room, if you are here tonight, or today, sorry, it's a thing and hope because you believe in the purpose. And it's hard. It's hard to have a purpose. I will give you one example. Too Good To Go. Anyone is using Too Good To Go here? Raise your hand. New York, Paris. Yeah. More people are using Too Good To Go that believe that Amazon has a mission. It's backed in. The purpose, Too Good To Go, food waste, B Corp, led by a woman, and they make money. Can you imagine? It's doable. You can have a purpose, and you can be successful. And that's hard, but more and more businesses are able to have those two. So in a minute, I will ask a question to my great friend Hubert about just what he saw at Best Buy and how he was able to bring not only a mission, but purpose in this huge organization. But before asking this question, I will just again ask you another question. I know it's a lot of exercise this morning. And you will see this question is about alignment. If we talk about purpose, we need to talk about alignment. And it's hard to be aligned. I'm not always aligned. I'm trying to. Do you think, another question, and can you raise your hand? And I know we are at Goldman Sachs here, but let's hear me out. Do you think it's fair that an organization like Apple is making $100 billion of profit last year, and is not paying taxes, fair taxes, where they operate? Anyone here can raise a hand saying it's fair? Maybe one, two, okay, fine. It's great. I always have one or two, we discuss after. But guys, 2 against 200. Now we'll ask another question, you understand the alignment. Can you raise your hand now if you have an iPhone in your pocket? Please. Okay. That's what is hard. We think it's not normal. And it's not. It's not. You are in New York. You can see everywhere. So many people are suffering. It's hard. Life is tough. And we're not always aligned. It's normal. So having said this, thank you for being part of this conversation. Hubert, purpose is everything for you. It's what you are teaching at Harvard. It's what you have done at Best Buy. So the question, was that hard at Best Buy to change the mission to the purpose?
So good morning, everyone. When in the new CEO program at Harvard that I lead, we ask the new CEOs on a scale of 1 to 10, how critical is having a purpose going to be to the long-term success of your company? Average response, 9 out of 10. So broadly, people believe that. On a scale of 1 to 10, and we ask them, how pervasive, how widespread is the purpose of the company? To what extent is it put to work? To what extent do employees write themselves into the story? Average response, between 5 and 6. So I think that today in business, most people believe it's important. The challenge is how to make it happen, how to put purpose to work. And at Best Buy, Alexandre, I've learned a few things around this. The first thing is, instead of, once you've defined your purpose, ask your communication team to do a campaign. You have to go slow to go fast. Do the work to see how the purpose translates into the strategy, how the purpose can become the keystone of the strategy. And what does it mean in terms of culture? What kind of culture, what kind of behaviors do you need to make that purpose come to life? That's the first thing. The second thing, you have to keep it really simple. In corporations, we are able to craft purpose definitions that are very bureaucratic. And we did this at Best Buy. We said our purpose is to enrich lives through technology by addressing key human needs. Right? If we had walked into a Best Buy store altogether and said, it's very exciting, we have a new purpose, it's to enrich lives through technology, people would have said, what are you talking about? So make it very simple. I think in the end, with the help of our team, we said it's about being an inspiring friend to customers. Right? Everybody can understand this. The third thing I've learned, Alexandre, is that actions speak louder than words. So again, refrain from a communication standpoint. If it's about being human and being an inspiring friend, how do leaders behave? When they visit a store, do you ask about the numbers first? Or do you ask about, you talk to the general manager, tell me about you. I have a friend who leads a bank in the Midwest. They have a great purpose. He asked the branch managers, people in the branches, how are you making that purpose come to life? Tell me customer or employee stories, right? And then the last thing I would say is that it's communication from the inside out, not top down, not this is our great purpose, but it's about, so I had a store general manager in Boston. He would ask everyone of the employees in the store, what is your dream? At Best Buy, outside of Best Buy, what is your dream? Okay, write it down in the break room. My job is to help you achieve your dream and connect your dream to your job and to the mission of the company. So these are some of the lessons we've learned. But so we know it's important, but it's hard, right? There's many challenges, and you've been a very purpose-driven leader. So maybe you can share with us, your experience. Yeah. What are the challenges?
Oh, so many challenges. Thank you, Hubert. The first challenge I'm getting from entrepreneurs, or even entrepreneurs, business leaders, is we first need to survive. Yeah. When you talk to entrepreneurs, they say, it's great to put purpose everywhere, but I need to make it work first. So it's always hard to see, because all the time if we do this, we say next year, the year after next, and so on and so forth.
And sometimes you shouldn't start with purpose. At Best Buy, when it was about saving the company, we didn't start with purpose. We said, let's fix what's broken. Let's fix the customer experience. So you don't always rush immediately to purpose, to your point.
No, it's very true. So there's no one answer. That's what it is. And sometimes in this world, we are pushed to do things because other people will say it's better. No one else will know this better than us. If you run a business, even same with your family, same with your friends. It's more important to say you need to be true with yourself, and that's important. I remember when we had a conversation with. I'm running also just an investment firm called Bliss, and the alignment I mentioned earlier in the purpose was, how can we define a new era of impact funds? And it was hard because a lot of people here, I'm sure you know many impact funds. A few years back, impact funds were saying, you know what, we have an impact, we have a purpose, but sorry, we will just underperform because we have this impact. And we believe we can do both. And you can, yes, have the impact, yes, you can define the purpose, and you can outperform or overperform others. Why? Because more and more people, and that's what you saw at Best Buy, more employees, clients, customers, will prefer buying your product if it's a good product, an okay product at the minimum, for this. So that's always the challenge is, I will do this, but it has to help me also thrive, shine, be successful. And it's, again, not that easy. So there is no one answer, but let's be super clear. Challenges are everywhere. It's not only when you put purpose, challenges are everywhere. So the Instagram life is a lie. Life is super hard on a daily basis. And that's maybe even more why people here, you are unique. You're exceptional. The fact that you're here, you run businesses, you do so many things. If people like you are not doing what Hubert is doing for years now, I think there is something to change. And yes, it will be hard to put purpose, yes, but that's why we're here. That's this time the mission we need to have. To you again, you mentioned Best Buy. I'm also, always amazed when you spend time with those leaders at Harvard. You're a teacher there, you spend time with them, with the business school, but also with a lot of business coming. How do you see them when they come? Are you able in 1 week? I know next week you have a big bank coming. Do you think between the Monday and the Friday, you will be able to change a bit the perception?
I think, or build some capabilities. I think that all of us as leaders, we are on a journey, right? If I look at my own life story, I studied at McKinsey, so I was a hard-charging McKinsey consultant, all about problem solving and performance optimization. And now I believe in the power of unleashing human magic, right? So maybe one of the biggest challenges to lead in the place of purpose and with humanity is to change ourselves. And there's the hard skills, because sometimes purpose can be fluffy, but it's purpose and profit, right? And so it starts with the hard work of doing a good job of defining a purpose. For me, a purpose is defined at the intersection of 4 things. 1, what are the needs in the world that we're trying to address? 2 is what are our the unique capabilities we have that allow us to address these needs in a better way. 3 is what are we passionate about? Right? It's not just the head; it's also the heart, and how we can make money. Right. So there's the hard work, and then defining the strategy, defining the culture. But the hardest thing to change is ourselves. Right. I can change the world, but changing myself. Today, given the rising expectations of all of our stakeholders, right? Employees, I don't know about your employees, but in general, employees have higher expectations, right? They want to work for companies that do good in the world. Customers have higher expectations, although at least they say, to your point, the behaviors are sometimes different, but society has bigger expectations, so this is challenging. The biggest evolution for me from a leadership standpoint has to do with how we define our role as leaders in this challenging environment. I grew up last century. So many of you are very young, but I grew up last century, where the definition of the leader was the leader as the superhero who had the smartest person in the room, had all of the answers, and would tell other people what to do, right? Have you met any leaders like this? Raise your hand. If it's you, that's okay, right? I used to be like that. I believe today, so this is an opinion, that no, that's not the kind of leader that people will want to follow. All right? The kind of leaders people will want to follow is somebody who is clear about their own purpose. What legacy do they want to leave? And it's not just, they're not just driven by power, fame, glory, or money. These are not, good drivers. They're clear about their purpose, but their role is more to create an environment where others are going to be successful, right? So it's from being the smartest person in the room, you're saying yes, right? And to creating an environment. So I have the vision of the role of the leader as a gardener. Now in gardening, I'm not an expert at gardening, but I've read about it, okay? You have the landscaping part, but then it's mostly about making sure the soil is fertile and that human beings can grow. And so creating an environment where there's meaning, where there's human connection, where there's autonomy, where people can feel they can grow. Psychological safety is really important. And so that's a complete change as relates to how we lead as individuals. And so that's what we are helping executives at HBS work on. And I'm sure you've seen that. You've been an entrepreneur, you're a philanthropist. Are you trying to be the smartest person in the room, Alexandre?
No, I'm never. I'm surrounded by just smart people. So I'm very lucky, great teams, and they are very, very smart. But still, what I'm good at, I'm good at not knowing. I don't know anything, and at least that's what I would start. This is the very start of every single. I've started 8 different businesses, and I'm good at hacking systems. I love hacking systems, and bring just purpose in it. I will give you an example. You will see what kind of system we can hack. The scholarship world, student loans. That was something 3 years ago I took, saying it's not working. I think we'll agree it's not working in the US, in Europe, everywhere. So I said, how can we hack this? And I knew zero. So I want to see people with knowledge. I want to see deans. I want to see governments, scholars, parents, a lot of people said, tell me what's not working, what's working. And how can we change this? And I got a ton of answers, very good, someone less good. And I built something called Infinite, and I will explain in a minute, to make you understand that innovation, and I know today you will be very lucky, you will meet so many great entrepreneurs, tech entrepreneurs developing the next AI, just will bring you to planet Zilly, wherever it is in the universe. This is important. But innovation sometimes could be something just not technological, but easier, you understand. Tomorrow, and Hubert knows this, Hubert will just finance someone under the poverty line. Just for information for the French people in the room, the people who have grade A+, so mention très bien, the baccalaureate, 10,000 of them are in France under the poverty line. 10,000 of them under poverty line, the best students in France. 1/3 of those kids, super talented, will never be in this room, never. Not because they shouldn't be in this room, because we were not born with the money and the influence. What we're saying now is those students should go to the best schools in the world. That's it. So it's easy, right, to do this. But how we're doing it? We say, Hubert will finance one of the students. Thank you, Hubert. He didn't know this, but now he knows it. But no, you will see the trick. And it will be interest-free loan with no guarantee. We're in a bank here. No banks can do this. But what we're asking the students, you will pay back. It's not a donation. It's not philanthropy here. It's entrepreneurship. You will pay back as soon as you start working at Goldman Sachs, for example. But you won't pay back to Hubert. You will pay back to an evergreen fund that will finance the next student. Got it? So it's a Ponzi scheme, but a positive one, right? It's easy to understand. There is innovation. No one else around the world has done it. And it's super easy to understand.
So to be clear, this is a great example of putting purpose to work and unleashing human magic, right? So big round of applause for you, Alexandre.
So again, thank you. I think we love being here. So maybe we'll ask Paul and the team. Maybe can we stay another 20 minutes? We have so many things to say. I think it won't work. But again, thank you. And the closing remark to you, maybe Hubert just.
No, I think clearly these are incredibly challenging times, right? We live in a world of multiple intersecting crises, right? All of us can probably say that the world as we know it is not working. And for leaders, this can be incredibly challenging. Your teams may be fatigued, right? There's resilience issues. At the same time, these are great leadership moments, right? There's increasing expectation that business plays a big role in addressing the biggest issues in society. And so as leaders, hopefully in 10 years from now, people will look back at this time and say, this was their finest hour. They created a future that did not exist yet, but that was going to be better than what we had now. So just go do it. Thank you.
Thank you.